Let's start off with LA City Council's racist comments controversy. That's our top news story of today. LA City Council meetings were recorded, and my Lord, were they saying some crazy shit. All right, let's watch what the LA City Council had to say about
Garcetti
Mike Bonin.
The latest political power player to say 3 city council members should resign after their racially charged comments were recorded and leaked to the media.
Other council members, as well as both mayoral candidates, Karen Bass and Rick Caruso, are also calling for the 3 to step aside. KTLA's Jennifer McGraw live at City Hall with new details. Jen.
Micah and Cher, this audio recording has no doubt it's shock and it's outrage and anger all across California. Even the governor releasing a statement, the sheriff and many city leaders calling on 3 council members to step down. Outrage and political blowback for some LA city leaders after racist and derogatory slurs were leaked in an audio recording from a meeting last October.
LA City Council members Nuri Martinez, Gil Cedillo, Kevin De Leon, and LA Labor Federation President Ron Herrera were making racist comments and discussing redistricting. Knock LA has some of the leaked audio. Now, this is an hour and 19 minutes of just insanity. Here's Herrera talking about Gascon.
All the, folks like with Gascon, he did call me. He wants to have breakfast with me.
What's taking him so long?
I haven't. I just said, hey, we need to talk.
Gil supported him from the.
All right, don't worry, I got you. So you'll start seeing them line up.
He's with the Blacks.
Isaac was the first.
In the recording, Council President Nuri Martinez says of Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon, fuck that guy, he's with the Blacks. There's nothing you can do to control him. And he says, when he's talking about Mike Bonin, who used to be homeless, and he's a council member, very controversial council member that all the other council members fucking despise. He talks about his son. He has an adopted black son. And he calls him a little monkey. He says he looks like a little monkey.
Whatever the kid's name is, I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float. And then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. Este niño has they're not doing, the kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God.
He's a little kid. He's like a little baby. LA City Council President Nuri Martinez was recorded calling a fellow council member's 2-year-old black son a little monkey, and said she wanted to give him a beatdown. She said this about a 2-year-old, okay? It gets worse. In the recordings, Nuri Martinez says the district attorney George Gascon, fuck him, he's for the Blacks, and plots with Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo to chop up Nithya Rahman's district in order to weaken her. Which, by the way, remember, like, these are the neoliberal city council members actively trying to figure out ways of removing people like Nithya, who are leftist council members, okay, from their positions of power. These are people who were democratically elected because people said, hey, we don't like the way things are going. We don't like the way things have happened so far, especially with respect to how homelessness is being tackled in our districts. And we have an alternative that revolves around an empathetic approach, an alternative that revolves around housing first policies, an alternative with the best that, of course, they can do. Clearly, it's still not the best. And these are all libs. This is one of the greatest examples of the ideological differences between liberals in safeguard districts and in safe, like, liberal territories, and the way they treat actual leftists, like actual progressive candidates. Tracy Park, who's running for CD11, tweeted that Nuri is an incredible leader and an inspiration. This tweet has now been deleted. Tracy Park for LA, the voters deserve a clear statement. Do you stand with Nuri, or do you repudiate her endorsement given her actions? Hugo Soto Martinez calls for CD6 Nuri to resign. No word yet from his opponent in the CD13 race, Mitch O'Farrell, on whether he continues to support Nuri after today's revelations. Notice how a lot of these Notice how a lot of the existing city council members the existing city council members are the ones that got caught are in support of all of the city council members that I am and people like Adam and you know the DSA Los Angeles branch is advocating for. You know, people that truly want to side with labor or come from labor unions that want to handle the homelessness crisis with adequate permanent solutions rather than short-term, like just leave them eating trash in the fucking street solutions. Like truly solving the crisis. A crisis that was created as a consequence of, our completely broken, fundamentally flawed housing market that treats homes not as a necessary resource for survival, shelter, but instead as an investment vehicle. And of course, a lot of the homeowners associations, real estate developers are on the side of people like this, and therefore they do not want to solve the homelessness crisis in a city like Los Angeles. And by the way, you might be looking at it from afar being like, hey man, I live in Maryland. I live in fucking Maryland. It's not like that here. Yeah, not yet. Any area that is urban, and I don't mean urban as in like, the fancy Democratic Party way of saying black. I mean like urban, like a city, okay? Any area that is going to be a real city is going to have these issues, okay? Anywhere that is overpopulated is as long as they are looking at as long as they're looking at housing, not as a necessary resource for survival, but instead as a investment mechanism, is always going to have this kind of approach. That's why you're seeing places like Austin, Texas also experience some of the similar problems. Hugo Soto Martinez is calling on Council President Nuri Martinez to resign, and we want a full and deep and thorough investigation into who else was a part of this and how deeply this is rooted as the foundation of City Hall. This is Rich coming from Rick Caruso. Rick Caruso, by the way, was endorsed by Gil Cedillo. And Rick Caruso himself is like a mega real estate developer, right? Like he is almost, if you could point to a guy in California or in Los Angeles, this is like one of the, there's nothing better to just like, there's no singular force that is responsible for this kind of crisis than a guy who has his own boulevard named after him. You know what I mean? Inside of the Grove, Mr. Grove himself, Mr. Rick Caruso. I mean, how many buildings does this motherfucker own in Los Angeles, right? Anyway, last year at the direction of Mitch O'Farrell, LAPD detained 19 journalists at Echo Park Lake. It didn't make anyone safer, but it was the most arrests that U.S. Press Tracker documented on a single day ever. My opponent called the operation an unprecedented success. Lack of accountability creates a culture where bad actors can blatantly disregard civil liberties. Now, of course, these guys are slowly but surely either getting kicked out. Gil Cedillo has been kicked out of the city council meeting earlier today, literally an hour ago. So you got that. Some of them are resigning. They should all resign, really. But let's continue with the scandal, okay, and what's going on. Martinez says that the adopted black son of the council member that he looks like a little monkey. This is a 2-year-old, by the way. This kid needs a beat down. Let me take him around the corner. I'll bring him right back.
They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
¿Sí me entiendes? Ven para acá.
It's a pinch.
Yeah.
But he is the fourth black one.
I mean, I get what she's saying there. That's not, she's saying that it's like white parenting. She's making fun of white parenting in that situation. That's but it's still fucking psychotic because the person that you're talking about is literally 2 years old. Okay, he's a 2-year-old baby. So you're out of your fucking mind. Make note, she's a Hispanic lady. Yeah, I mean, she's saying, pull out the la chancla. Yeah, exactly. But look, I'm Turkish. I understand what she was trying to reference there about white parenting, but again, not appropriate, especially in that context. and certainly not appropriate when you're considering that we are talking about a fucking 2-year-old. Okay. Also, if you're Hispanic, that doesn't change. Like, I mean, you can be black and anti-black. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything. No, I'm not saying, yeah, dude, child abuse is good parenting. You're right. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm glad you took your takeaway. I'm glad your takeaway from that was that I am wholeheartedly endorsing child abuse. Thank you. Because that's what I was saying. No, I'm talking about, I made no assessment on corporal punishment being an adequate tool to teach children, you fucking weirdo. Child abuse is bad. Can't believe I needed to say that. But let me make it clear. Okay? I know. I'm brave. This is why Twitch said I'm edgy. I don't know why Twitch said I'm edgy. I'm so or this is why Twitch said I'm edgy, because I say stuff like that all the time. I say, you know, child abuse, not good. Child abuse, very much bad. All right, so then they talk about Martinez de Leon and Cedillo and Herrera are discussing black political power in Los Angeles and what de Leon terms the Wizard of Oz effect.
Yeah, that's called Cape Town.
Yeah,
I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan Koreans. Not even like Kevin, little ones.
I was like,
Indian.
no, I don't know where these
Call them
people are
Indians.
from. I was like, I don't know what village they came, how they got here, but
And so they're wearing shoes.
So one,
down feels.
I get what we have to do, right? Just massage to create districts that benefit you all,
Yep.
right, and the future.
Yep.
But we got to figure out Mark's seat too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And I'm
that
gonna take
benefits you
different.
three.
Is if the African Americans look at this, now that he might or may not be suspended, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think that he should be, but anyhow, if he goes away,
You mean resign, not suspend.
No, here's.
you're right, I think, yeah, there is
If-
a difference.
If I may,
If he resigns, hold on, if he resigns and the African Americans look at
I just hopped on. Are these people connected to DSALA? No, man. What are you, fucking stupid? No, these are literally like the mortal enemies of the people connected to DSALA. And half the time they're talking about literally DSALA candidates. No, these are like the neoliberals that are in positions of power that are siding with the real estate developers and fucking despise the DSALA candidates. Like, these are the guys that straight up fucking are regularly talking about how much they hate that shit. How much they hate them.
this as a hostile takeover because he's gone, we'll have to figure that shit out because politically they're gonna come after him.
Yeah, but can I say something right now? And this is what I call the ¿cómo se llama this guy? The movie, the Wizard of Oz effect.
Mhm.
And what I mean by the Wizard of Oz effect is when you're on the side of the curtain, it's like this big voice. And it sounds big. And it sounds like there's thousands of them. And then when you actually pull the curtain, is that you see the little Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
You know what?
I've never watched the movie.
It's the same thing.
I never watched the
You
movie.
got 100 people,
I
right?
think it's the
52
old
of them are
school
Mexicanos.
folks.
I
I
feel
mean,
pretty
I
good
think
about it.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about my chances of beating your ass.
25 are black. And the 25 blacks are shouting. And the
But they
52
shout like there were 250.
Yeah.
When there's 100 of us, they're
Right.
like, it sounds like
So,
there's 10 of us.
but that,
So these guys are liberal, by the way. I just want to point something out. These motherfuckers are libs, okay? Remember, they're libs. They're libs. They're libs. Herrera tells Martinez, De Leon, and Cedillo that they must maneuver the appointment of a city council seat to someone who supports them. After De Leon rejects his initial suggestion, they seem to agree on Heather Hutt. Following a controversial process, Hutt was appointed to the council as a council member for Council District 10 in September this year.
if somebody slides in, right, temporary or however you do it, right, that person has to support the three of you. Has to support the three of you. And Danny,
You know who wants to run for that seat?
Reggie.
No, Isidore.
I ain't gonna support Reggie. Reggie was over there with Karen.
Who was over
After he was fucking sweating his ass off.
The one who will support us is Heather Hutt.
Yes.
I like Heather Hutt.
Yeah.
Heather's
Says you're saying that the one that put in a blender and chop up, right? Martinez, Cedillo, and De Leon come to agree on aggressively gerrymandering Councilmember Nithya Roman's district.
There's certain people who don't merit like us rescuing them. Your comadre, right?
I'm not arguing with you about that.
I know who you know.
¿Quién es tu who's your comadre?
You know, Nithya.
Oh, Nithya.
She doesn't merit, right?
But this
She's not our ally. She's not going to help us. Her district is not a district we can count
So
on.
you're saying that's the one to put in the blender and chop up left and right?
But that's what they did.
Yeah.
Go get that airport from his fucking little brother, that little bitch Bonin. They hate Bonin. Like, they fucking hate Bonin so much.
So getting back to Marquise, I told Danny.
He's suggesting about in redistricting, Councilmember Harris Dawson should take the airport from Bonin's district. She questions why Bonin thinks he is black. Then De Leon says his kid is.
You want to cut a deal, and if you want to make like fucking boss moves, I would go after the airport. He goes, fuck, I love that idea. I said, tell Marquise,
So
go take it from his friend.
Don't go.
Don't go after. Leave him alone. Go get the airport from his fucking little brother, that little bitch Bonin.
Black people.
I go, what is with Bonin? I said, Bonin thinks he's fucking black. That guy don't think he's black. I go, he thinks he's black. I go the same thing.
I get it. He's a diva. I understand that. Cedillo says he's happy with redistricting map K2.5. Calls and speaks of Councilmember Mitchell O'Farrell as Martinez's guy. Martinez expresses surprise that Cedillo is not as close with O'Farrell anymore after their COVID bromance and calls O'Farrell a diva. Fuck that dude, Martinez, on Councilmember Bob Blumenfield. Ron Herrera tells Cedillo, De Leon, and Martinez that they are a little Latino caucus of their own and that his only goal is to get 3 of them elected. When Herrera says he spoke with CD3 Councilmember Blumenfield, he says he told him he sees all LA City Council seats as Latino. Martinez says, fuck that dude about Blumenfield. Martinez then calls Councilmember Krikorian's former chief of staff, the guy with the one eyebrow. Even the Armenians took a hit on this one, okay? She just, like, they had something for everybody. Okay, if y'all aren't Mexicans, y'all don't realize how funny this actually is. Mitch and Bonin are gay. That's intentional anti-gay commentary. Yeah, they're yeah. Like, they had it out for every demographic. Okay?
Krikorian, I think, will come with us by the mere nature that the labor map is better for Krikorian.
He also wants his guy elected, so he needs a district that Irene Nazarian can win it. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Mexicans can't be racist, bro. Yeah, no, totally. But what's this then?
They want to be reassured that they have not an Armenian district in the valley, because that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But they want as many Armenians in that district as possible to be able to play. Now, I don't think Adrien gets elected. If a reputable white businesswoman runs in that district, it's still pretty white. But that's on them. Yeah. I'm not cutting that deal with anybody because I don't know. I don't know that he can win.
You know that Aveen works for Caruso.
Irene. No, ya se fue.
Yeah.
He started his own business.
Yeah, he's with Caruso.
Yeah, I like him.
He's cool. I mean,
I don't have a problem with him. He's been helpful to me in the past. He's critical of Krikorian because they had a small falling out when Irene left his office. Krikorian was really pissed off and stopped talking to him. I think they've made up, but I get along with Irene.
What's his name? What's he look like?
Irene, the guy with the one.
I don't understand. Guys, like, I already said this. These people are in positions of power. They're politicians. There is no, like, Mexican or black or white in that circumstance, okay? You can only get worse. Like, the fucking bottom of that threshold is already so bad. Okay? I don't know why people are like, oh my God, I can't believe Mexicans are like this. Like, first of all, no, that's not the case. But, like, what is this? The first time that you've heard, like, a bunch of people in elitist circles unironically talk openly about their disdain for the working poor across the board and their disdain for the working poor and their representatives? Because half the people that they're shitting on, they're literally shitting on because they ride for the disenfranchised communities. Okay? That's the reason. That's why they're shitting on them. Also, everyone can be racist. America is an incredibly racist country. Okay? Countries that have been impacted by colonialism and slavery. Okay? That have a history of I don't know, indigenous genocide in their development are going to have a lot of white supremacist attitudes. And yes, North America, Central America, South America also falls squarely in this category. That's why there are consistent conversations about how Afro-Latina people get fucked over by other Latino people, Latino populations. There's colorism. There's so many different facets to this, okay? It's a totally normal part of everyday existence in every fucking culture, okay? But there are also plenty. There are also, like, there's plenty of racism within those communities in the identical capacity. There's even internalized hatred towards other Latino people. They have you on the recording. Hasan, I will be their biggest foe. Okay, dude, chill. Not only was what they said abhorrent, the purpose of the meeting was for redistricting and working to remove power of indigenous and black communities, and Ron Herrera, the leader of our LA Federation of Unions, was a part of it. Here's the thing, guys. This isn't about like Mexican people versus black people or whatever. This isn't all that shit, okay? Don't get caught up in... Do not get caught up in the high notes. This is about the rich and powerful seeing themselves as a different category, seeing themselves in a different category than everybody else. Okay? It's just like their disdain is obvious, right? Their disdain for black people is obvious, but ultimately, that violence that they enact through the apparatus of the state is conducted on the virtue of class. Another problem with this is that, like, one, they're just not going to do that. Two, what you fail to recognize, at least watching from afar, like, people that go into the city council meeting are usually the weirdest people, right? But in Los Angeles, the city council meeting is actually occupied by plenty of normal human beings that are kind. Like, they're not cranks in the same way that you see it in, like, other places, right? These are real people. These are union organizers. These are people who are activists. These are people who are, like, you know, reverends and shit like that. But they're not going to actually end up getting anyone probably to resign. Now, the reason why I say that is because, one, they're fucking incredibly powerful. They're like, you know, they have like serfdoms. Okay? And two, they actually kind of embody both the racial and classist resentment that a lot of the actual voters in their districts have.
Now, you respect the position, but sometimes that person is very hard to respect.
That's the unfortunate truth here, is that as long as they represent the interests of homeowners, as long as they represent the interests of, like, the upper middle class to the incredibly wealthy, as long as they can still continue to you know, keep real estate developers happy, no one's going to question their power. If there's one area that you should definitely vote in, the fuck do you mean? It's this. How many times have I said this? I have quite literally said, listen, even if you don't want to fucking vote for the president because you don't care, you don't feel like your fucking votes matter, yes, local down ballot races are infinitely more impactful in your life, especially when there are candidates that align with your worldview. If those guys were completely irrelevant, if they were feckless, if they were powerless, they wouldn't be looking to desperately try to cut Nithya's district. They wouldn't be looking to push, they wouldn't be shitting on Mike Bonin for being gay and having a black child. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason why they're doing that is not because they have so much hate in their heart, which they clearly do, but the reason why they're doing that is because these guys are disrupting the delicate balance, the institutional control that council district members have. This is one area where you absolutely do need to fucking vote extra hard. This is a place where you're supposed to do that.